Hey, sports porchers! I'm your hockey Jesus, and I'm back with Game 59 analysis of the Pittsburgh Penguins versus the New York Rangers. We're also going to cover the Caps game. The Caps game was also last night, so rather than do anything in between, I figured, why not just do a back-to-back? And what a back-to-back it was. Welcome back from your Four Nations tourney. I hope you were checking out some of the coverage I had on that. To cap it off, I had the counselor on, and we kind of batted around where we thought USA hockey was going to go. Go back and check that out if you haven't seen that. But tonight, we're going to talk about the Penguins. They're still in this thing, barely by the skin of their teeth. Not really, but we're going to pretend they are just because we have to. We got to keep the faith as Pittsburgh Penguins fans. That's just what we have to do. So here's what happened. And I kind of had a premonition this was going to happen. Pittsburgh Penguins on Saturday afternoon just get shellacked by the Washington Capitals. The Washington Capitals are playing on a different level than the rest of the league. They know how to turn it on. They're good defensively. They'll stay tight with the team. And then when they push that pedal, you can't stop them. They scored 3-4 goals in a row. They did it again today versus Edmonton. They did it against us on Saturday. I think they're on a mission, and we kept Ovechkin off the score sheet, but he scored 3 today. I'm going to get to Ovechkin at the end of this because I think there's something worth mentioning there. But the Penguins lose. They actually look like they played better the first half of the game than the Capitals, but I think it was all a ruse. I really do. I just think that, Ned was in goal, but he couldn't stop anything. They get like 2 shots. It's like a 750 save percentage for poor Ned, which means 1 out of every 4 shots are going in. That's just never going to work in the NHL. It's absolutely never going to work. They brought in bloomqvist, and he did a little bit better, but not that much better, to be honest. The Pens were in it after the end of the second period. That game was over. And I guess it was a little disappointing. I should mention, because I haven't mentioned it here, but Mike Lang's death on Wednesday and the tribute that happened at the arena on Saturday was just fantastic. It's a good tribute to a great man, to a guy who is synonymous with Pittsburgh Penguins hockey. His catchphrases, I don't have to say them, you know them. Elvis has left the building, probably his best one, or it's a hockey night in Pittsburgh. Okay, so I did say a couple of them. Just a true icon, Pittsburgh Penguins legend, Hall of Famer. He passed away, so they had a little tribute for him. I was hoping they'd get a little boost from that, but they did not. They didn't really get a boost from that at all. Maybe, I think it was just Washington shaking off the rust in the first period, to be completely honest about that. So Penguins lose. They go 0-1, and then they got to play again this afternoon against the Rangers. Kind of a back and forth game, but just I'm starting to see a trend here, and this is not a new trend for the Pittsburgh Penguins. Their goalie play is absolutely awful. They have given up 13 goals on 47 shots since the Four Nations tournament. That's a 723 save percentage. That's worse than once every 4. It's still about that, but that's never going to win you games. I don't care, even if you only score 3 goals. It's not necessarily about the goal scoring either, because you score 3 goals, you should be in it. They score 3 goals, they're not even close to being in the game, although they were today. In fairness, it was 3-3 until the Rangers scored that 4th goal with about 8 minutes left, 6, somewhere around there, 7-8 minutes left in the game, and it was over. The Penguins didn't have a lot of shots on goal in the third period, and they've been doing that even going back to that Rangers game the Rangers game that they won in Madison Square Garden. So I say it's 3-game losing streak because before the Four Nations, they did lose the Philadelphia Flyers, who we will be playing the next 2 games. So is this good or is this bad? Well, I guess it's all perspective, but right now, sitting in the basement of the Metropolitan Division with 55 points and currently owning the sixth best pick in this year's draft, I think it's probably good because there are a couple teams they could still fall behind. They're never going to get the number one pick. San Jose has that locked up. They only have 39 points or something ridiculous like that. Even if they went on a tear, they wouldn't be able to catch the Penguins. So they're never going to get the number one pick. And, I get it. There's the lottery balls for the number one pick. This year's pick is McKenna, somebody like that. Not a phenom. So I think if you're picking in the top 10, you're picking some good talent. So I think it's good for the Penguins to lose, as much as that pains me to say. And it'd probably be better if they drop both these games against the Flyers. Although I'm going to Thursday's night's game, so I'm kind of hoping they don't drop them both. But that would be what's better for the team right now. Let me just show you why that is. Here's my statistics. This is the Pittsburgh Penguins right here. This is let me pull it up. This right here is what they need to do to be able to get to a playoff spot definitively. They started out 0-2 here. These two games are losses. They have to go 19-4. In order for them to do that, I predict they have to win the next 12 games in a row and lose only 4 more games. 4 more games after that. That seems like an improbable thing for them to have to do. That gets them the 93 points. 93 points right here. That'll get them in a playoff spot. I never ever talk about let me close this up. I never ever talk about, how many points behind they are, because the Penguins got 59 games. A lot of other teams got 53 games. It's about the total amount of points you're going to have at the end of the season. 93 points will get you in for sure this year. That's where they need to be. So let's put it into perspective. 12 games in a row. This year, the Pittsburgh Penguins have 1 4-game win streak. That was back in November, into early December, back when they were only trending at 68 points for the season. That boosted them up to 78 points. So 78 points is about where they've been. They've fluctuated up to 82 points projected for the season. I hope you like those projections, because I think they're the most helpful, knowing where they are in terms of what they need to do to get to a playoff spot. But 80, like I said before, 82, 84 is not a playoff spot. 70 right now, where is it? They're trending right now at 76 points, not a playoff spot. So if you're not going to make the playoffs, what's the point in trying to get up there when you can just stay down low, get a couple better draft picks in the first and second rounds? Let me go back to that, because I want to show you. I want to show you where they are as far as the trade deadline. So Philadelphia, Boston, Toronto, Colorado, and then you got the trade deadline. So they've got 5 more games before they're going to be at that trade deadline. Unfortunately, today, Grzelcyk got concussed by Rempe. Thanks, asshole, Rempe. Although, in fairness, I don't think he deserved a 5-minute penalty, and he didn't get one. He only got a 2-minute penalty, but it was certainly interference. If you go back and watch the play, I'm not going to show it. I'm not going to show the video. There's plenty out there on Twitter where Keandre Miller plays the puck off the wall, and Grzelcyk was going in to basically try and stop the puck. He didn't play the puck because it shot by him, and then Rempe just slams his head right into the boards. That's a dangerous play, and Matt Rempe does that all the time. Don't like the guy, so I was happy to see him get 2 minutes. I wish we would have gotten a power play goal there just to prove the point. But so now Grzelcyk is concussed, and that means he might be off the trade table. Nobody's going to take Grzelcyk if he's in concussion protocol. So that's not good for the Pens, because he's not signed for next year, and he's somebody that was kind of a hot commodity. I think all of the shine that was Erik Karlsson in the Four Nations tournament has completely gone off. I think Erik Karlsson was responsible for maybe 8 of those 13 goals. Just an awful, terrible play he's been having since he's been back. And, might be because Pettersson's not playing with him anymore. And, not having Grzelcyk today certainly didn't help that. Who else should we be talking about? Let's talk Joel Bloomqvist. Here's what I have to say to you, Pittsburgh Penguins fans and hockey fans everywhere. Be patient with this kid. I know he's a little bit older. He's not an 18-year-old, 19-year-old. He's a little bit older. I think he's like 23 or something like that. But let's put this into a little bit of perspective. When Marc-Andre Fleury, and I'm not comparing Marc-Andre Fleury's career to Joel Bloomqvist's career. This is just the start. This is absolute start of his career. Marc-Andre Fleury played 20 games. He started. He was 4-16 and got the Penguins 10 points in those 20 games and had an .896 save percentage, okay? That's not good. 4-16 is not good. Of course, 2 of those were ties. We don't talk ties here. But Joel Bloomqvist so far has had 12 game starts. He's 3-9, and he has an .886 save percentage in those 12 starts. So he'll probably actually get 8 more starts this year. So maybe more. I hope they don't send him down, to be completely honest with you. I think he needs to stay up here for the duration. And I think he needs to get at least 8. Like to see him get maybe 10 or 12 of these last 23. So I say that so that you can be patient with this kid. It takes a little bit of time to figure out the speed and the shot velocity and the angles and how far you can move in the crease. It is very difficult. We are not professionals at this. I'm certainly not a professional. I've seen it. And honestly, if I'm looking at it just by a feel standpoint, I would say, the kid doesn't look like he has it. But I probably would have said that about Marc-Andre Fleury. Maybe not, because he was a little bit flashier. But it took Mark at least a good year or 2 to figure things out. They were ready to roll him out of here, third year when he was making boneheaded plays and he couldn't play the puck. I remember a Columbus game where he shot it right up the middle and gave it away. Goalies will make boneheaded plays. They will absolutely give up goals. You want to see progression with Bloomqvist, and we got to keep him in there this year to see that happen. I think that's really important. So that's my point on Joel Bloomqvist. Please be patient with him. I implore you as the hockey Jesus. And finally, let's talk about the race, the Great 8 race. Like I said earlier, Alex Ovechkin scored 3 goals today. He is 12 goals away from tying Wayne Gretzky's goal scoring record. Unbelievable. He's there. He's right on the doorstep. 13, and he will break the record. He's got 25 games left. It's looking like it's going to happen, people. And you need to jump on that bandwagon right now, because I can tell you, once it gets in the single digits, he's going to be everywhere. Everybody's going to be talking about it. Jump on it now, because I think it's going to be a lot of fun to watch him go for it. I don't know if the pressure is going to slow him down a little bit, but sure didn't look like it's slowing down the Washington Capitals today. And they look like a team on a mission. So, unfortunately, today, your Pittsburgh Penguins lost to the New York Rangers 5-3 and lost their first 2 after the Four Nations tournament. It's not looking good for our Penguins, but it is looking good for Alexander Ovechkin. You got to stay tuned. You got to stick with this. I love NHL hockey. I hope you do too. If you do, smash that subscribe button down there. I'm here after most every Penguins game. I can't say every Penguins games anymore, because I have been known to take a few off this year. But I promise you, I'm seeing this through to the end of the year, 100%. And I'll see you in the next one.